Hello, good day. So the goal of this presentation is to show you the visual identity concept that we worked on over the past few days. Before I get started on any branding project, I always try to ensure that I understand the brief properly. So then after that I do some research, then summarize my whole research and finding in this document also. So now I start with the brand overview. That's summary of everything that I was able to get from the brief. So and I got to understand that Loredana is an autoimmune foundation dedicated to increasing awareness and promoting early diagnosis of autoimmune diseases. Then I also discovered through research that Loredana means freedom and generosity, which is actually a very good thing because it actually speaks more about your brand. I mean, the name actually says what your brand does. So, and this reflects your organization's commitment to helping people with this disease to live their life with more freedom, independence, and generosity. So, the name of your brand itself sells itself. Well, but people have to actually go and do their own findings to understand what the redundant means because it's not English, it's Albanian or something. So, now the target market is also another thing I have to consider while working on this because the identity is going to be pushed, and the people that are going to be using your identity or viewing it or like interacting with it are your target audience. So I understood that from the brief that it's mostly women and children because this mostly affects women, but not really, not too much men. Well, women is like three times more affected. Women are three times more affected than men and this when it comes to disease. And also sponsors and people that love to basically just support NGOs that have this kind of cause, that I believe in this kind of cause or are fighting for a cause like this. So I took those into consideration while working on the brand identity. So I also had to create an objective to guide the whole process to ensure that what we are building is in line with what's the overall vision and goal for the donor. So based on the brief, I was able to come up with an objective that will solve this problem, which is to create a brand identity that will uniquely position the donor as an approachable and accessible brand with a focus on creating a supportive and inclusive community for individuals and families affected by this condition. So I also had to part of the process was needed me to like create some keywords or generate some keywords based on everything from the brief and all my findings that can like serve as a direction for the whole identity design. So I selected this keyword: freedom, organic cells, and organic, fun, clear, care, immune, and movement. And there are also other keywords, but these are the major ones that I decided to select to direct the whole process. So these keywords actually influence the colors, the patterns, the also the logo and typography. So the color, we selected two primary colors, which is purple and green. Purple, which is actually a common color used in this particular industry, is actually used actually represents lupus, which is a very common disease, autoimmune disease, and it's also used in the healthcare industry. So it seems logical to make use of the color purple as one of the primary colors. But to differentiate a bit, I try to make sure the grade, like the shade of purple, is different from your competitors who also use the color purple. Then green also used to represent health and wellness. So when you combine these two colors together, it kind of creates a sense of harmony and balance, which is a good fit for your brand and also promotes awareness and support for people with the disease. And also it makes your brand stand out. I mean, the green with the purple allows it to stand out in the industry. So next we talk about the typography. So all these are like the components that build up the brand identity. So for the typography, I selected two fonts, Doodly and Chillax, which are easy to get, will be made available at the end of the project, and they are also easy to download. So Doodly for is reason we chose Doodly because it has this kind of organic, kind of approachable and friendly feeling, which is very good for an NGO since it's not about you are making profits. So it should be a very approachable. So I decided to use that, and also in addition with Chillax, which is also an approachable font that makes your brand approachable and trustworthy, and it's also a very clean font. You can see the use cases on the right here, providing support for people living with autoimmune diseases and the likes. So next we talk about the logo. So I was able to merge everything to form the logo, and in the next few slides I will explain what the logo means. But you can see it's a purely typographical logo, which works very well for your brand, and which you see the reason why. So this is the logo in white, and then this is the full colored logo. And now let's look at the philosophy behind it. So the Redona logo is a bold and memorable typographic logo that is approachable and fun. And as you can see, it looks fun and it's very approachable because it's not doesn't have any pointed edges, rounded edges all through, and has this kind of like not imperfect feel attached to it. People don't like if you come as too perfect, it's difficult for you to relate to people because everything about you just too perfect, and yeah, so it's kind of difficult. You make yourself too difficult for people to relate with. So that's why I made it feel imperfect. So, and also the idea was also to make it look feel organic. So in addition to that, a human cell element was attached to the logo to reflect the organization's mission to increase awareness and awareness of autoimmune diseases. And the organic feel of the logo reinforces the idea of improving the lives of those with autoimmune disease. So you see the human cell is in the shape of the letter O, so which is creatively placed there to replace the letter O, and it's still very much readable. So overall, this whole thing makes the logo distinctive and well crafted, and also it effectively communicates your brand core value, which makes it relevant to your brand. Yeah, because if you see it, it looks the red blood cell, you can easily say that okay. And when you see the name autoimmune and you can see the red blood cell, you can easily it makes it relatable that okay, well, these guys are like into healthcare and all. So it's a memorable and recognizable symbol that helps to build brand recognition and supports your cause. So this is the logo in white. You can also notice the background pattern at the background pattern. So now the next thing we worked on was the secondary logo. So we decided to create a secondary mark which is going to be used for smaller use cases, because your logo should be versatile, which makes it easy to be used across different medium, like small use cases like a badge, stickers, and the likes. So the initial organization name was used to create this secondary mark. So it just inherited some properties from the primary logo. So you can see the L, the A, and the F. So this is combined together to form some kind of like a protection. This can be seen as a cell or also an individual that's being protected, or kind of like more like being supported by a community. So hence the way, that's why it looks like this. You can see it also has the inorganic and imperfect feel attached to it. You see that the strokes here is not a perfect arc, it's kind of like wavy like, so which is also similar to the primary logo. So it also makes the whole thing look friendly and approachable. So this is a summary of the whole identity in just one picture. So you can see that the logo works on an image. It works the secondary mark, and you can see another version of the logo here. And this is the pattern for the logo. So now the pattern is actually just a combination of basically cells and organic kind of lines that look like living organisms basically. So just wanted to make it feel like relevant to the industry. Because you are dealing with your immune system, and immune system basically we are referring to basically the cells that help in defending your body. So after I did some research, I was able to understand what autoimmune meant. So some use cases, the next thing I'll be showing you are just some use cases to show how the typography, the color, the logo, and everything combine to form a solid and unique brand identity. So you can see the fonts, the doodly fonts being used there alongside with the chillax fonts and the logo. Then you can see the imagery depicts women that are feeling empowered thanks to the regional community. So now as I go through the slide, you've seen some outline. Some of the images are outlined, have some white outline around them. Now this is to represent protection basically, or being secured with the regional. So that is the idea that we are trying to push out there. So you can see how everything comes together, and also in the background you might notice the pattern around it, and the purple stands out very well with the green. Then you can see how everything comes to play in the back, the core part, and the pattern in the background. And also went further to let's just see how is it going to work in the real life scenarios. So you can see the imagery, you can still see the pattern, the outline, which is actually makes it unique. So the images could have in this outline around it, which shows support and stands for protection. So joining the fight against autoimmune disease. You can also see the pattern being used here as a shape here. Then take a closer look at the business card and the letterhead, which were some of the required deliverables. So you can see the details in the business letterhead, and also the business card. So the business card is very unique, and also on brand. You can see the pattern and how everything is combined together to make it feel, remember the goal is to make it feel approachable. So that is what we're aiming for in every of the materials for the brand: approachable and friendly. Then also went further to create how it's going to look like for social media. So you can see here, when I send the document, you have a clearer version of everything. It will be clearer than this. Sorry for the quality. So now there are two versions here, because some people prefer to use the full name of their logo, their full brand name in the profile picture. But I'm actually someone that likes iconic logos. So that's why I created this version of the profile picture, which actually is more readable than the other one. And along with time, as time goes on, you'll be able to understand that this thing represents the brand. So it's the goal of this profile picture is to make it more readable. So it's more readable than this. So that's why I created this version. So it's left for you to decide which one you would like to use for a profile picture, or both of them works, but this one works better though. So you can see how everything comes to play together with the fonts. So it gives that kind of friendly vibe, and has that kind of feeling of support attached to it. You can also notice how the color is being blended with the image. So now let's look at the visual positioning, visual brand position, the visual positioning. So because you need to know what your industry looks like and how other brands are portraying themselves. Now you see the goal is to be unique, and you notice that each of every one of them, they have this kind of too serious looking vibe, and when you come out and become different, you see that you can be easily spotted out. Imagine you have a basket full of red balls and you're the only blue ball there. It makes you what's distinct, and people can easily spot you out and like choose your brand. But since it's non-profit, so there's not really like that kind of much competition. Basically, as you mentioned, there's no competition. Everybody's supporting each other. So we designed the regional brand identity, including the logo, color palette, and typography, as you have seen, to be welcoming, approachable, and easy to recognize, conveying a sense of warmth and empathy. So that is it, which most of these logos here actually are void of these traits. So but the Loredana brand identity has the following trait that we highlighted here. So overall, the Loredana's brand position is focused on raising awareness and reducing the impact of autoimmune disease through a compassionate and community-oriented approach. So that's why the vibe is like this. So you can also see the color is deeper than the lupus brand. So that was the goal. So you see that it works well. It's also very distinct amongst the rest. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. So I would love to get your feedback after this presentation. Thank you very much, and the document sent to you. Have a great day. Bye.